Good morning, Pueblo, and welcome to our November edition of Bree on a Budget. I'm Bree Pappen, and joining me today are some very special guests who truly have Pueblo's back and are working to make a difference for those in Pueblo County who are feeling the squeeze from the pause of SNAP, the rising food costs, and other federal programs that are paused. As of today, we're in day 38 of the government shutdown. There has been slow progress to having the federal government release SNAP benefits since last week, when we learned that two federal judges deemed it unlawful to withhold funding for the largest anti-hunger program in the U.S., which is SNAP. That is overseen by the USDA. The Trump administration agreed to tap into the contingency funds to the tune of $5 billion, a shortage of need for the monthly disbursement of SNAP benefits for the U.S. There are over 40,000 Pueblo County residents that receive SNAP benefits that were not granted in November. Through the efforts of Pueblo County agencies, our local food pantries, and food distribution centers, as well as some incredible business owners and individuals, such as some of the guests I have here today, Pueblo County is working to find a way to get food in the hands of Pueblo residents. They are not only SNAP recipients, but for all those who are experiencing food insecurity. Initially, it was reported that when funds were released, SNAP recipients would only receive a 50% of their monthly disbursement amount. But now reports improve that number to up to 65%. So I'm really excited to have everyone here in the studio with me. First, I want to introduce Auden Gonzalez, owner of Super Market Gonzalez on the east side. Welcome, Evans.
Thank you, Bree. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And then from United Way, I am really excited to have Diego Rivera. He is here as our mentoring program and PMC coordinator through United Way. Hello, Diego.
Hello, Bree guests.
And remotely joining us is Luanne Maes, who is the Economic Mobility and Opportunity Manager at United Way. Hello, Luanne.
Hi, Bree. Hello, guests.
Thanks so much for joining us remotely. We are really happy to have you here. I just want to get right into it, and I want to just first ask you, Evans. I just want to first of all applaud your effort from Supermarket Gonzalez and just your partnership with the Eastside Community Group and all the things that you have risen to meet the need on the East Side. Tell me a little bit about how Supermarket Gonzalez got started.
Well, it wasn't our store at all. It wasn't our store at all. We were in a meeting at our East Side Neighbors Council one Thursday night, and Amanda just brought it up to see what we are able to do as a council to help our community. This has all been a team effort. It has been amazing how just our community has risen and wants a change. You know, they know that we could do it ourselves. So if we could, one was able to stand up and a whole community backing her up, it's just been great. Like, that person just spoke up, and from one to another is like, I help. So it was great.
It's fantastic how when a community has needs, they can come together for that one sole purpose. I think that's been an amazing effort on your behalf. And honestly, I have been following you along on Facebook, on your social media, and have seen the incredible strides that your partnership with the Eastside community has made. Can you tell me a little bit about when you guys started doing the food distribution, the collection, the collecting donations, and having a call for volunteers and help aid at the Supermarket Gonzalez?
Well, it happened the next day on Friday. I posted the flyer, posted out that we were going to start doing the food drive. And that same day, it started like roll effect.
Was this right after the government shutdown in October, or?
No, I think it was like the last week of October.
Okay.
Because this Thursday was our second food drive that we did.
Okay.
So as soon as we posted it on Friday, how it happened, it was just an anonymous donor came in and gave us $500 to start the food drive.
Wow.
And I feel like by sharing that anonymous, like how powerful, it just started the snowball effect of more community members coming together and being like, hey, like they're actually doing something and they're doing it. And with just that weekend, we were able to do that 121 bags.
That's amazing. That is fantastic. How many are you able to, do you know, how many SNAP recipients come shop at Super Market Gonzalez?
Well, half of our sales are SNAP recipients, to be honest with you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, what I would love to do is just, I mean, there's no transparency here at the Star Journal. We just want to know, exactly who's using Super Market Gonzalez. I mean, everybody that receives SNAP, as I said, there's over 40,000 people, almost 41,000 SNAP recipients are in. That's about over 20,000 households.
That's $8 million that we are missing out in our economic.
And that's, you bring up an interesting point, is that it's not only the people that receive SNAP are, missing out, or they are not getting their benefits, but also the places where they shop are experiencing a deficit as well in terms of their business. It's that's $8 million that is put into the Pueblo County economy. Yeah. So, not in terms of those people that shop there, how are you responding to them in terms of their need when you're doing like the food drive, or you're doing giving away the bags? Is there a system that you're doing in terms of the bag, the grocery bag giveaway?
So for them to come and get a bag, they have to bring their SNAP card or the app, so we know that they're on SNAP, because we know they're the ones that are being affected the most. Mm-hmm. Even though we are the Eastside Neighbors Council, we don't turn anybody around.
Of course.
Anybody from Pueblo, anywhere, if they need a bag, please come to Super Market Gonzalez Wednesdays at 2 p.m.
Okay. And can you again tell us all where your address is on the east side?
It is 224 East 4th Street, Pueblo, Colorado.
Okay. So, as I said, we're kind of in an unforeseen status right now in terms of we're in day 38. There have been a lot of false pauses in terms of information that's being brought to the public in terms of the types of things or agreements that the government is being reached in terms of, we're going to go ahead and get the SNAP food benefits out on this day, but there's a lot of different roadblocks that the public has been told in terms of and where they get their news in terms of that. So regardless of when and if SNAP benefits are distributed in the month of November, how long are you guys prepared to continue your efforts at Super Market Gonzalez?
So we're going to continue them every single Wednesday until SNAP comes back, but we're not going to stop there. We are looking at resources, other nonprofit organizations. I have a nonprofit organization as well that is Foundation Gonzalez, awesome. Which is the father of our, or I don't know what the word, but
is it kind of the overarching foundation that sustains Super Market Gonzalez?
No, that sustains our Eastside Neighbors Council.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So we're trying to get other nonprofit organizations to partner up with my nonprofit organization so we could get resources for more food, more items, not just count on our neighborhood or in our community, but we know that there's more resources out there. And that is one of the reasons that we started the Eastside Neighborhood Council, because maybe we may not do any changes at a country or state level, but we can definitely make changes at a city level. Because if we as a community come together, and our city councilmen, they're a joke right now. But if they don't come together as an East Side Council, and we're trying for each district to have one. Mm-hmm. So whole Pueblo is a community neighbor council, where we could actually demand accountability and visibility for our councilmen if they're not working for us. As a neighbors council, we could come together as well to kick them out of there because they are working for us. We have to remind them they are working for us. So at a city level,
and
this
city
is
council,
economic.
I've always believed that city council should do a huge amount of outreach because they represent certain districts and wards within the county, within the city, that are supposed to be kind of a voice for their particular area. So, I feel I totally understand where you're coming from and agree to the point of where I think having real-time FaceTime with your representative on city council for them to be informed of what exactly is happening in their district, that's absolutely needs to happen, especially now because
making sure they are actually representing us. Because, if we go to economic development, Pueblo has $70 million sitting in a bank account. Like that should be an emergency right now that they should release some of those funds to help our economic development. It's not just my business. Like say our window was broken. I can't afford to go pay for that window, which is going to give the window replacement company job as well. So it's going to be a snowball effect. Yeah,
there's absolutely trickle down happening with not just the holding up of SNAP benefits being dispersed, but also, as we've talked about, where those people shop, where SNAP recipients shop, the businesses that are affected not only by people having to kind of reimagine their budgets in terms of using their money if maybe they are experiencing a shortfall, maybe their hours are being reduced, maybe they have been laid off or furloughed because they work for a particular company that has a city or federal affiliation. But people, I think, are having to reimagine and their whole way of being right now. So I hear you. And, we just had our local election. And I do know that there will be, just from my own knowledge of following the election, there will be some new faces in terms of city council. I'm pleased with some of the people that will be new to the city council in terms of what their ambitions are for the city of Pueblo.
And this should be an eye-opening for all of us, even for our leaders in city council and our mayor. Because if this were to ever happen again, it's like, what is our city doing as an emergency to protect our community? It's like we shouldn't just be relying on the federal government. We pay city taxes as well. Like there should be an emergency funding for anything like this happening because 25% of our population is suffering right now because of food scarcity. Right. If it was bad before, it's even worse now. So as a city, we should all come together because there are resources out there, which I'm surprised the mayor and all of them are not doing a little bit more. I heard from Brandy at RSMER, they're only getting $5,000. Like, that's not going to go a long ways. There's more money in our budget.
Is it my understanding that, so does the county work directly with Care and Share, who directly works with the food distribution and food banks in Pueblo County?
That's state. They get state funding. Okay.
So has the state funding, I also, has state funding been allocated for Pueblo County in terms of, an increase to help those food banks and food pantries be more sustainable at this time?
I believe they got some money that they're going to distribute out, but it hasn't happened yet. Okay. I know Pueblo Project Works got $30,000, and Catholic Charities got another $30,000 to buy gift cards for Thanksgiving.
Okay. All right. Very good. And I do know that there are certain organizations, probably those organizations that especially, and also I know that some of the high schools, like some of the Key Club and different community service clubs in the high schools, the students are now getting ready to prepare food bags and food boxes for Thanksgiving distribution. I think they do it at the fairgrounds. Is that something that, okay, all right. Well, thank you. I really appreciate your transparency and forthrightness, Evans. I really do appreciate it. I want to, and I'm going to probably cut back to you as well, and I have some more questions. I want to now turn to Leanne and Diego from United Way. First, Leanne, I wanted to speak with you about, as the Economic Mobility and Opportunity Manager at United Way, what are some of the things that, since the shutdown, that you have noticed as your clients or individuals that seek out United Way and seek you out in terms of help with how they are to have a sustainable household at this time, whether they are a SNAP recipient or whether they are just experiencing food insecurity?
Hi, Bree. Thank you. Yes, we have seen with our program, because we do through our Financial Empowerment Center, which we work with the city on, we have one-on-one financial coaching that's confidential and of no cost. We have seen an increase in clients actually just wanting to adjust their budgets, because whether they're SNAP or not, we've seen an increase in prices for groceries, for essentials that people are just having to adjust for. We've had an increase in requests for workshops. We have a curriculum with 4 parts to our workshops that go over how to read your pay stubs, how to get safe, affordable banking with no fees through our Bank On program, understanding your W-4s, W-2s, 1099s, taxes, how to file, our VITA program, which is starting up in January, where if a household makes $69,000 or less, we will prepare and file your taxes for free. We then go over credit and debt and how to manage those and how to reach your financial goals and how to budget in a way that makes those goals come true. And then our 4th is budgeting and what we call adulting with money, when you're finally reaching those goals, you're trying to reach those goals and you get into them, and what arises in emergency funds and how to adjust to lifestyle changes like retirement or a government shutdown or a layoff or something like that, so that you're a little better prepared, if you can be, in what's coming. And we've seen a lot of that. We've seen a lot of folks trying to get prepared, and some that weren't prepared but now have to pivot and make it work. And what's really difficult is right now we're looking at the holidays coming up with Thanksgiving and Christmas right around the corners, where families are really having to adjust their budgets and their mindset to accommodate the upcoming holidays and how they're going to do those and what those are going to look like, because they're going to be different than they were last year or a few years ago.
Have you noticed that more people are participating in the buy now, pay later programming in terms of how they're able to budget for the holidays, not just putting food on their table? Because I have also been told that you can do buy now, pay later when you're at the grocery store. I reported on that a couple months ago when I first started the Pueblo We've Got Your Back, Bree on a Budget column, and with these other programs that are buy now, pay later programs. Have you noticed an increase, or that more people are participating in this particular type of shopping or budgeting?
We've seen that a bit with more retail, like more Amazon and things like that, which always is a little frightening because it just prolongs that debt. Yeah. What we're really trying to encourage folks is to change the mindset for the holidays. And of course, this does not include food, but as far as gifts for the holidays, more of a attitude for experience rather than material things, because consumerism has taken over, it seems like, and we just want to buy those things when in all reality what you remember years later is not actually the gift, it's the experience that you had with your family.
Right.
So we're trying to encourage folks to go that route more than to get into debt trying to do the buy now pay later or overindulge or overspend for the holidays. And again, that's not including food, but more of along the gift line.
Of course. And, that brings up a really important point is family resilience. And Diego, as the mentoring program and PMC coordinator at United Way, I want to ask you, what are some of the things that, maybe not just since the shutdown, but now entering the holiday season that you or your mentors have noticed with kiddos or young people in terms of their raising concerns, or if they're watching their parents or understand that their family or their household may be struggling financially, whether it be with food insecurity or with budgeting around the holidays. What are some of the things that some of the more concerns that some of the mentors have approached with the youth that you've been working with lately?
Yeah, so I think a lot of what we see are both effects from spoken and unspoken anxiety. So young people may hear their parents talking about this or about the issues that they're having either with money, keeping up, SNAP benefits, electricity, housing situation, family members, what have you. They may be privy to these conversations, or they may just feel the emotional effects of that anxiety and that stress that the parents are feeling. And then I think in large part that really does trickle down to the students and how they interact with the world around them, and not feeling secure, whether it's financially in terms of your housing, in terms of whether you're going to have running water to take a shower when you get back and you need to ask a friend or a family member what that looks like. And so for us, it's really been, I think, a big struggle of finding those wraparound services where we can fully take care of not just our mentees, but the parents and the families, and equipping our mentors with the proper skills to navigate those kinds of conversations and what they look like.
Yeah, that goes beyond just, food security. That is basic human needs. And I think that, of course, there's a percentage of people that take those things for granted, but the other percentage, and unfortunately, I think that's a majorative percentage here in some parts of Pueblo and Pueblo population, that this is an everyday thing. These are things that they have that are parts of their lives. And so on top of, not receiving SNAP benefits or receiving, fortunately, WIC and those other programs are still active. So that's a saving grace for many that have very young children. But what are I can imagine some of the long-term effects of that these experiences might have on school-age children. What are some of the things, or what are some of the coping mechanisms that the mentors and yourself help provide as a resource for some of those kiddos?
Really, the biggest one is communication. Having an ally, a supporter on your side, especially as a young person. Our program is for middle school students. Mm-hmm. Having an adult on your side who doesn't exist as a result of consequence or authority is huge. Really, the interactions that they have, young people especially, around that age, is really just authority figures and people who are mm-hmm. telling them what to do or what they should be feeling. And we are super grateful that our mentors are equipped to really navigate those conversations in a way where students can express themselves, and just being able to talk about your anxiety and your fear openly when out of whether it's with other staff members or your peers. It could be embarrassing. It could be traumatic to talk about those things outside. It's not something cool or fun to bring up in the middle of recess.
Many
or
times, like
cafeteria.
people, they don't want to have a conversation with their parent. They need to have somebody else that they feel comfortable with to be able to talk about those things, especially as they get older. And I definitely feel that any type of, mentoring program or having participation in that is definitely something that needs to be a strong suit in terms of the lives of middle age, high school, etc., even younger. So in terms of, around the holidays, and not just making sure that there's food on the table for everyone, how about things that not just food and family but like gathering and being among family and being among supportive relationships for these kids? How are some of those things that they have to navigate during the holidays? What are some of those concerns?
I think really one of the biggest things is a sentiment of belonging, right? If we can keep them occupied, especially during those times with whether it's school extracurriculars or within our program, we'll have events happening around that time. We'll have mentor-mentee bonding trips where we really try to focus on having mentors and mentees spend time together, just not talking about school, not talking about what they should be doing, just enjoying the moment and not worrying about what are we going to do tomorrow. What's tomorrow's problem going to be? And I think that's one of the biggest pros to mentoring in general is focusing on holistic healing when so many of our support services that we see every day are reactionary. And while that is incredibly important and to be prepared for emergencies, we also have to look at how do we solve problems before they become problems? How do we prepare our students today for the issues that they're going to be having tomorrow? And a lot of times that comes in the form of just having someone to speak to, someone to be on your side, someone who can understand what you're going through, who has similar lived experiences, and especially with incoming mentors and people who aren't yet mentors, understanding that you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be there. You just have to care honestly, earnestly, and consistently. And that's what makes a great mentor relationship, is just having a student know that they can count on you.
I think that's kind of the cornerstone of having a growth opportunity for young children, in terms of having somebody, not only their parents, of course, or a single parent household, just somebody that they can, if they don't have that, somebody that they can really look up to, somebody that can help them with their troubles, somebody that they can talk to. I've always, as a mother, really doted the notion of community service and volunteerism. I know that there are several opportunities and clubs in the high schools, and I'm not sure about the middle schools, but what percentage of kiddos that are part of the programming are plugged into that type of thing, community service or volunteerism?
I think it's always going to be a smaller percentage than we want it to be, right? And I think high school is when you really start to get into volunteerism, whether it's for service hours, for college or whatever. Mm-hmm. And interesting point, because how do we bring up more civic engagement from our younger population? And we have things like youth advisory boards through several committees or what have you, working for change, where we do, such as the PDPHE, the health department, where we take on sometimes middle schoolers and they come and give us their ideas on initiatives and things like that we've got going on. So I'd say it's always a smaller percentage than we want it to be. How do we increase that? How do we offer more opportunities that are incentivized, not just starting out of the goodness of your heart to volunteer? And
I think Super Market Gonzalez has some opportunities.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Listen, we're all going to be talking about how we can get more volunteers, but I think trying to get civic engagement out of our youth population is always going to be an active goal of ours to push that, because really they are tomorrow, and today is today's something we have to figure out.
You mentioning the youth, the East Side Neighbors Council, we're starting a youth program where they could actually have a voice so we could hear them out as what they would like in their own city, in their own neighborhood, in their own block. So as well from ideas from our youth to older people, like what is needed in our area. And I feel like that would open their eyes and way more things that they could actually have a say in what happens in our own town.
Do you have Evans? Do you have a partnership with East High School? Have you gone into East High School and talked with some of the whether it be the people that run the community service clubs or different clubs or volunteerism or anything like that?
Not yet, but we will. Amanda is one of the girls that is starting to do that, especially because her son goes to East.
Okay, you're
High
you're Amanda. You're referring to as Amanda who?
Amanda Soto. She's one of our board members, one of our committee leaders for our East Side Neighbors Council.
Okay, all right, thank you. Yeah, you referenced Amanda before. I just wanted to make sure that you.
Yes.
Who are we talking about?
Yeah. She's one of our board members as well. One of the ladies that started all this with us.
Perfect.
So we are in the works of getting that started, but we're in the process of still getting the foundation formed for our East Side Neighbors Council.
Awesome. I just feel like, between everybody that's sitting here, United Way, and so many of the other organizations, there's an incredible, not just now, but I think there's just so many untapped opportunities for not only just youth, but just people of all ages in our community to be able to just really rise up and help serve their neighbor. And, I feel like maybe that's just like an immediate need thing in terms of just kind of enacting those things. I just wanted to close with, or not close, but just close that. But I wanted to also ask some other questions about to Luanne. Tell me again, Luanne, what some of the resources that you have for those that are or that you're aware of that United Way can offer in terms of immediate food security fulfillment.
Yes, thank you for asking. We actually are encouraging folks to dial 211 if they need help. There's a list of resources there that can help them. And if you want to give help, you can dial 211 also. But the food pantries that are accepting donations right now are Servicios de la Raza, Pueblo United, Ecumencio Church in Pueblo West, the Pueblo Shelter, Rocky Mountain Stair, the Avenue Church, SoCo Harm Reduction, and the Eastside Council Super Market Gonzalez. Available drop-off sites are Vector Bank, Power Credit Union, and United Way Pueblo County. And if you go to our Facebook page, United Way Pueblo County, it's got a list of all of these different organizations and their addresses and the times and the dates where they're taking drop-offs. And I believe where they are also offering the pickup services. We are also having a food drive right now called Thanks for Giving. And that is through Cooperative Care, United Way, with some other sponsors like Southwest Motors, Safeway, Albertsons, the Small Business Development, Little Caesars, KDZA, Families Helping Families, Walmart, Brews Ales House. And I think I mentioned all of them. I apologize if I didn't. But we are collecting food for the holidays. And on November 13th, we're going to be out and about at different locations. And if you want to see where we're going to be at on that day, go to, again, our Facebook page, and it'll be all right there.
And that's next Thursday, the 13th. But we will also have, I will try to attach it to the bottom of this podcast when it goes live this afternoon, or it's online this afternoon. I will attach the links that I have that I believe most of that you just covered, Luanne, on that, as well as the links for with the digital story that I also believe goes live today for the Pueblo Star Journal's November issue. So I will have all of the information online as well, and we have links through the Pueblo Star Journal for all of that information as well for Pueblo County.
Yes.
Yeah. So I wanted to, first of all, thank you all for being in the studio today. I just really feel like this has been eye-opening and really, just our ability to be able to share information and be transparent about the things that are happening in Pueblo County and really kind of raise up the individuals that are contributing to these efforts and really celebrating those individuals and organizations that are meeting the needs for these people and for the people in the community. I want to just applaud all of you. I really appreciate that and taking time out of your schedule for being with me today. But I also want to make this a call to action for the Pueblo community in terms of, there are so many things that if you are not able to give monetarily, you can donate some cans of food or donate food or even your time, or even, if you have somebody in your family that you know that you want to, form a closer relationship with through communication and just have them be someone in that you're available to have them come to if they need somebody to talk to, or even somebody like a neighbor anything that you can do besides giving your time, that's not monetary. All of these things help an individual, a group, a family, an organization in some way. And I feel like now is the time more than ever for all of us to be able to reach and give some of ourselves to this cause and to helping sustain the community. Wherever you live in Pueblo, whatever part of town, whether it be the east side, north side, south side, Bessemer, anywhere in town, if you can give your time, give any resources you may have, or information, or share information with your neighbor if they know that they are in need, do that. Now is the time. Keep doing it. And, I definitely think that internally, that helps strengthen bonds between community members, between areas of town, between individuals. And if we can do that just in the smallest way, it makes a huge difference whether we realize it or not. So I want to thank so much Auden Gonzalez, Luanne Maes, joining us remotely. Thank you so much for making that happen. And Diego Rivera, both from United Way. I want to thank you all so much for being here. Is there anything else, last things that you want to offer?
Yes. I would like to invite anyone to come Thursdays at Central Quinto Sol Park at 6 p.m. for council meetings. Everybody is welcome. Come and learn to see how you could start one in your own district, in your neighborhood. Thursday at 6 o'clock at Central Quinto Sol Park.
Perfect. Thank you. I think there's just so many opportunities for future partnerships for East Side. And then, of course, to make that happen all over in all of the neighborhoods. No problem.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bree, for having us and welcoming us on your show. And thank you, Pueblo and the entire Pueblo community, for your resilience and helping us stay Pueblo strong and sticking to the beliefs that we all have, that we have a great community and that we band together in time of need.
Thank you, Luanne. Diego, did you want to say something?
Yeah, keep doing the great work, everyone. Like Luanne said, stay Pueblo strong. Whether it's volunteering for, at food distribution sites to help, or for mentoring programs or financial advice, stay active in your community, be an advocate, and stay engaged.
And also be diligent. If you are somebody that is directly affected by this government shutdown, gaining information every day is going to just empower you to understand exactly what is going on with the things that you depend on in your household or individually. And no matter where you get your news or your information, be diligent about it and empower yourself and be forthright in terms of educating yourself and utilizing resources that are available to you. I think that, an interesting part of the conversation that I had with Luanne previously is that I think a lot of people might face embarrassment or feeling different emotions because they aren't sure how to go about seeking these resources. Maybe they've never had to do it before. And just empowering yourself with that information and understanding and not being embarrassed and just, you're doing it for yourself and maybe for your household and maybe for others that you that you're close with that you may not have ventured into this arena before, but there is no need for that. It's all about doing and providing for yourself and for your family and for your kiddos, and that's just our meeting those basic human needs. It's just it's instinctual almost. So I really think, regardless of whatever barrier you may face, if you need help, reach out to somebody and seek out that information, and that information is empowering for you. Sure. Well, I want to thank you again so much for joining me today. That was our November edition of Bree on a Budget. Pueblo, we've got your back, and certainly all the people in my studio today have Pueblo's back. I want to thank you for joining us. And again, keep an eye on the Pueblo Star Journal November issue, and we will have lots of links and lots of information to share with you.
Homeownership is possible with a trusted partner.
It brings us a lot of joy to be able to say that this house is our own and that we've poured our hearts into making it our own.
Alyssa and Ryan are among the more than 155,000 people Chaffa has helped become homeowners since 1974. It starts with homebuyer education and connecting you with a statewide network of participating lenders. Get started at chfainfo.com/yourhome. Chaffa is an equal housing lender.